So in episode 9 of Journey 2020, I talked about my intention to get team members and clients on the figurative bus to share their stories with the world. So in this time of a global pandemic, I'm going to share my story of the recent, well-needed holiday that the family took on what my little 1-year-old son called the bus, to ultimately to my brother's wedding up in the Atherton Tablelands. And so we decided, instead of just hiring a car, going to the wedding and coming back, we'd make an adventure of it. So we flew to Cairns and we hired a motorhome. And our au pair even came along. She was going to go on a skiing trip at the same time, but that got cancelled for obvious reasons. And so there we are, all the family, and this is a real adventure. And so we're staying in caravan parks and go up to Port Douglas and ultimately go to the Atherton Tablelands and see lots of sights along the way, and are there around that where the wedding was for a couple of days. And one thing about it was really, really quality time with the kids and with the family. You are in close quarters, but you get to see part of the world, and there's that real sense of adventure. My little son Jack, on day 1, woke up the Cairns caravan park with beeping his horn pretty loudly before the sun had risen. And another thing too, I guess, of travelling in the RV or the motorhome was you really have that sense that you're going on adventure. You're not backtracking, you're going from one place to another place. And we met a lot of people along the way, a lot of escapees from Victoria who got out of there before the lockdown, and also a couple of families we met with kids around the same age as ours, where they've made that decision to take a year off and go travelling around, and it's not totally off. They're still working to some degree, running their own businesses, but they're spending that quality time with their family, that quality time with their kids, and that quality time amongst nature and kind of getting out of that bubble that they're living in. And the only way that they're able to do that and homeschool their kids and still do some work is via technology. So as much as we all need a holiday, and we're all looking at holidaying closer to home, and motorhomes is the way to go when planes aren't travelling, the experience of travelling in a motorhome really made me reflect that technology, if used correctly, if we make that choice to use it this way, can be used to bring us closer to nature and closer to family and give us kind of greater freedoms, rather than necessarily all the evils you hear about social media and the downside of technology. So it's all up to us to make the best of what we can in this pandemic, and certainly I would be wanting to do more trips like this, and I think all of us can embrace a bit of a new reality in the midst of this global pandemic. Be interested to hear your thoughts and your stories.